Self-help is feeding your fake identity and shadow work is feeding your authenticity. I kept on living my whole life trying to be someone else. Then I was wondering why it actually never truly felt right with me. So I came across this concept called self-role. Sounds cute, right? A self-role is basically a fake identity that a child creates in order to deal with emotional chaos happening around him. So very simply put, it's basically you being there for parents what they needed you to be in the family, having that particular role, so they could be comfortable, so they could feel in control, so they would be unbothered. And even though all of that crushed the real you in the process. So this is basically where your true self is going to the backseat. Not exactly backseat, but actually in the back of the trunk. Make sure that you shut its mouth and make sure that it cannot move, and just make sure that it does not interrupt the peace of family. So this is where the self-role takes over. Basically that fake identity is put in the driver's seat, and here we go from that point. So self-role basically becomes the main character in your life, even though it was never the real you. It was the protector of you. But of course the true you was never actually feeling protected. It's still back in the trunk. So the thing is that living with this fake identity is extremely exhausting because you're constantly fighting yourself, you're rejecting yourself, you neglect your instincts, needs, your personality, your uniqueness, basically everything that makes you, you. You just create yourself and show yourself by trying to adjust those parts of you that is not even you, that everyone wants to see on you. It takes an insane amount of energy to pretend to be someone that you're not, to pretend that you're fine, to pretend that you don't need anything or anyone, pretend that you're strong, pretend that nothing hurt you. Of course, pretend that your life is perfect as well. Meanwhile, your true self is standing there in the corner. Really? That is what we're doing? So in your head, eventually you create the ideal self-role, this perfect version of you that you think that finally will meet everyone's needs and get you what you always wanted. Basically, if you will become that, everything's gonna be solved. You're gonna become loved, chosen, valued, looked up to, wanted, and everything else. It's basically your brain's way of saying, if I can become the perfect people-pleasing machine, I'll finally get the love I want. But here's the tragedy. That perfect self-role, it's basically the ultimate, the most upgraded level of fake identity. Treat it as Dior knockoff. But the thing is that even if you do reach it, and some people do, it still never gives you real happiness, because the real you, the real values that you need in life, they were not addressed. So eventually you come to the point where everything inside you screams, get out, this is all a lie. And oh god, that fucking messes you up hard. It's basically the best representation as the universe slaps you as hard as it can and gives you the truth that you definitely weren't ready for yet. However, you needed it. So I was one of those kids. I grew up with an emotionally immature mother. So of course I was emotionally neglected. My mom wasn't intentionally evil, but it's just that my needs were never on her priority list or any list at all. So basically I was growing up with this rule. If I'm invisible and convenient, then everything is fine. But the moment I had needs, opinions, wants, or anything that is inconvenient for my mom, oh boy, I was immediately shamed, gaslit, denied, rejected, and so on. It was so inconvenient for her. Like literally, I felt all the time that she didn't want to have me, like in general. So I figured out that unless I was useful, I shouldn't bother her at all. So based on that, guess what I did? I built myself a stunning, perfect fake identity. And here are the unconscious rules that my perfect self-role was living by. I don't need anything. I need to help everyone. If someone is upset, it's my job to fix it. I must be self-sufficient. I must be tough and strong. I must be perfect. I cannot make mistakes. I'm not allowed to ask for help. I have to be fast and convenient for everyone. I can never waste anyone's time, so I have to make sure that I'm very fast on doing things. I cannot be a problem. I'm only allowed to give, but never take. If I don't help someone, then I'm selfish. Even if I literally don't have the time, don't have the resources, don't have the energy, doesn't matter. I have to help them because otherwise I care about myself more and this is not acceptable. So my mom's neglect of me basically installed a program so I would be neglecting my own self. I had to be okay with everyone else's negativity, even if they were hostile. My understanding was I can only be good time type of girl and never a burden. For me, a burden literally meant that asking for any help or anything that a normal person would do, that meant for me that I'm a burden. So I knew that I do not allow myself to feel negative emotions, because if someone would see even by the corner of their eye that I'm a little bit upset, I would get punished. So I created basically a part of me that I try to prove myself that I cannot get hurt by anyone. I also made myself believe that I must be a gift for everyone that helps them to live this hard life, and they can come to me and get support and feel loved because I'm always ready to be that for them. No matter what, basically, I'm the aloe for their burns, even if we don't talk to them at all, even if I don't see them at all, even if they don't know anything about them or they're not in my life. I just have to be accessible for everyone. And people can ask anything of me because apparently I am pre-installed with unlimited emotional storage. Great charity work, right? So basically I became a robot who always smiled and stayed quiet and fixed everything, but not just myself. And saying all of this, that was damaging, is basically such an understatement that it's ridiculous. I literally held myself to unrealistic God standards when I didn't even have a basic level human support, which, by the way, I didn't know that is necessary for each and every person to live in this life, that everyone should have that support and that it's healthy to need one. So living from the self role is actually creating an insane amount of problems in your life because it affects absolutely each and every area in your life. Just imagine, like, people don't ever meet you. They only meet the mold that you created, the puzzle piece that you reshaped in order to fit their puzzles, rather than being the real puzzle that you were in the beginning and allowing others to connect with that. So of course you feel alone, of course you feel unseen, and of course nothing fits you. And you feel like, what is wrong with the relationship? I think I should be happy with this, happy with that. But the thing is that you were fitting the wrong pieces together, so no one actually fitted you. So as you can see and as you can understand, you're meeting basically from that part the wrong partners, the wrong job, the wrong friends, wrong hobbies even. And you create the whole life that essentially isn't even yours. And then you sit there and think like, why am I miserable? Why nothing feels right? Everyone would be so grateful to have everything that I have in life. Am I crazy? And no, you're not. You just literally built your whole life not for yourself, but for someone else, for those standards, for that imaginary great person that you thought that you should be. It was always for your fake identity. And you did a great job. However, at that point, you know that nothing is working and you need a way out, and there is one. And this is where it actually shifted big time for myself. So when I got into spirituality for the first time, and I mean the one where it's like, think positive, just everything from good vibes, just smile and affirm and you get everything. I didn't know that all of that mindset is actually making things worse. All the self-help that I was consuming, like everything was leading to feeding my self role, not my real self. I wasn't helping myself. I was helping my fake, perfect self-identity. I was putting so much effort to upgrade that self-identity when I was just trying to make sure that I feel good. But it was basically saying that, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to the left in order to reach the destination on the right side. Of course it's impossible, but I didn't know. So, oh boy, I read so many books, I watched so many videos, I tried to figure out just how to be confident, how to get a dream job, or how to be perfect on job interview, how to make sure to be a good friend, or like how to have great skills and like humor and everything. I'm not saying that those things are bad. The thing is that I was neglecting how I naturally am. I was actually thinking what type of personality I can become that people would enjoy my presence so much. So it came down to all those things, right? That I have to be like helpful and great and funny and supportive and strong. So just I would be able to give, and that's it. So basically I was working so hard to make sure that people would need me, approve of me, of course, and love me. Well, I thought that it would be love, but of course, even if they would love me, this would be only love for that fake identity, which essentially was just draining me. So my motto that I was living by was not be myself, or not even be my true self. It was literally be so good that no one can reject me. And I had literally no idea that I was going against the true happiness and fulfillment in my life. And then I hit 27, and I remember feeling so good, a little bit suspiciously good. Even though I'm thinking like, that's it? Did I reached the goal, like I'm there. I was making more money than anyone I knew. I was very self-sufficient. I was so valued at work. They called me the asset. People admired me. They were asking how the hell did I put everything together in my life like that. Finally got my own place, started traveling. Everything looked perfect. But then when it came down to moments when I wasn't working, it was very, very small amount of time, I realized that I felt empty. So I started asking myself, why on earth do I feel empty? Why am I not fulfilled? Why am I feeling miserable? I even started feeling guilty about not being happy. I'm like, I should be grateful. This is everything I wanted. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? I felt like nothing made sense, but it did. All of this was a lie. So this is where I felt that life was just like looking at me, and it said, you created a perfect self role, congratulations. And you're still not happy. Ready to try something else, or you're going to pretend that this is working out for you, just for the sake of the image? Then the anxiety came, then the panic. I realized that if I would have lost my financial setup at that point, I would have nothing to show for. My self-worth would be completely drained, completely thrown out of the window. So essentially, all of that was just an illusion. So after living in that happy, trying to manifest, oh, how life is good type of mindset, this is where I was brought into shadow work. Because when reality hits, there's nowhere else to go. This is where I started realizing that my life didn't actually match my true values that I had in myself. Like, I didn't even know what my true values were. I was living just by fake standards that I created when I was a child. I realized that my whole identity, my whole happiness was coming from how I was performing my role and not from who I was. So I started sitting by myself, feeling my pain, processing the emotions, the memories that I have, really digging into why I made certain choices in life. And slowly the pain was actually digestible for me. I wasn't as reactive anymore. I was starting to see actually things for how they are rather than how I really needed them to be. And I even started seeing when someone was overreacting outside of me, what didn't fit the situation, I was like, oh, okay, it has nothing to do with me, and the whole situation is actually not about me. I saw that they are actually acting from their protector self, as I did for a very long time. So instead of spiraling, instead of overanalyzing, overthinking, self-blaming, I could actually feel in the moment and be able to see what is happening around me in real time, and not just being lost in the pain and the emotions and traumas that I was holding for a very long time until I was able to process them. Essentially, it felt that I finally have the missing piece that I never even knew that I had the opportunity of it existing in my life. But another realization that I came across is that I built my whole life around the things that I don't even like. And this is where my hermit era hit. I literally disconnected from everyone else's expectations and I quit. I quit that dream job, that dream everything that everyone was asking and everything, that I'm like, I'm done. Like, this is draining, this is not me, I cannot do that anymore. I started figuring out what I want, what I don't want, what matters to me, even if no one agrees with me. And like literally seeing where my heart like wants to go, what excites me in life. And this was definitely the messiest part in my life. Because when you stop lying to yourself and you start detaching yourself from everything that didn't work before, well, of course, things are going to start to crumble. People start showing their real faces. Some said even shocking things to me. Funnily enough, jobs that I did get easy before, I wasn't able to get them anymore because, well, I figured out that it's a misalignment. So universe was not allowing me to go in the same direction anymore. Interestingly enough, even fake connections tried coming back into my life. So in short, everything that was out of my alignment started breaking apart, and pretty much it was everything that I had at that point. Definitely very painful and very intense period in my life, and this is where I see when people are struggling or faking or anything, I'm like trying to actually show that please don't go that far to get in the situation where I was when everything had to be pulled apart. It was so complicated that I was even on the verge of going back to my fake identity because it was so uncomfortable, that disintegration type of that period, the time that I thought that I cannot handle. It was just so much easier to go back to fake identity. And you know what? A lot of people do. And that's fine, I completely understand, because it's not easy. But if you actually go through that period, you stick with your boundaries, you stick with your wants, with your heart, with your guts, it gets a little bit easier. Never easy, but it gets a little bit easier. And you start actually going in the flow, and every day you start feeling happier because you start living with your values, with your alignment. So as awful as it was the only way to set me free. And also in psychology, it's a known thing that when people are changing from one, you can say, personality to another, it has to disintegrate itself. And this is where we're going to live through that grieving type of moment, type of period. And this is okay, because the part of you is dying and you're actually becoming a new person. And only because I did decide to stick with all of the pain that I was going through and not give up and go back to that fake identity, because I knew that I was still going to be unhappy and eventually it would bring me back to the same point and I would need to go through that again. So I'm like, let's just go through it and let's see what happens. So if not all of that inner work, all of that therapy, all of those books, all of that inside work, all of those process, today I wouldn't be where I am, and I'm the happiest that I have ever been. I have literally the kindest people around me. I have my dream partner. I'm doing this, even being on YouTube, even though I'm still small, I'm still growing, I don't care. This is within alignment of what I want to do. And honestly, I do so many other things that I love. And whenever something feels off, I make sure to first see what actually feels right for me, and if it feels wrong, then I actually see it. Does it feel wrong because it's actually not in alignment with me, or does it feel off because it's just new? Because it's also very important to distinct. And if it's just something that I'm scared and it's just new, of course I'm gonna go forward with that, which is also not easy but necessary for an authentic life. So even though in a way my life became smaller compared to like all of the things that I thought like, oh, this and that and all of this show off, but the thing is that it did become so much more fulfilling to me. And it might not be the case for everyone, but that's the thing, that it's a part of being authentic, that finding what is right for you and not just trying to see what fits everyone else. And even though I was thinking for a very, very long time that, oh my God, I wish I would have known all of this sooner, but I also know that you only receive that particular information when you are ready. So if you're still here, you are definitely ready to hear this, and you're definitely ready for whatever comes next. And if you still haven't done this work, and if you still find yourself in this particular type of oh shit moment where, oh my God, I was actually living by my fake identity, this won't be easy, but it definitely will be worth it. Because the moment when you actually stop living for everyone else, you can actually start living for your own self. And what's the point of life if you're only living for everyone else? After all, there's a reason why you came into this world, being particularly you. So if you truly find yourself resonating with this video, I really recommend you checking out this one as well. This is where I do explain why particularly those affirmations do not work when you actually try to make big changes in your life to actually feel good and live that fulfilling life, and what to do instead, what you're missing out, and what is holding you back as an anchor on your boat, right? And doesn't allow you to move. So make sure to check that out because it's going to help you immensely too.